Hey guys! So this tutorial is supposed to be sort of like an Evil Dead slash zombie kind of like inspiration thing. I mostly took inspiration from Evil Dead. This is supposed to be a gender bent sort of like version of Olivia, but it ended up looking more dead, so I guess you consider it more zombie than Evil Dead. But I don't know, I really like how it turned out. Like, I really like how this sliced cheek turned out. The teeth are the thing that kind of like throws me off a little bit, but I like how everything turned out of this look. I am aware that these are not the lenses that they wear in the movie Evil Dead. These are more towards the original version. I do have red and yellow contact lenses, but apparently I think they expired, so instead of injuring my eyes for a video, I decided to be safe. I'm not risking my vision for the views. There really isn't a lot to say about this look, except if you want to see how I did it, then just keep on watching. Okay, so already primed and moisturized, got my American Horror Story beanie on, applied a little bit of foundation, so let's go.
I'm first starting out by taking a red eyeliner pencil and I'm going to start sketching out where I want the wound to be before I take some liquid latex and start applying this on the inner portion of that rough sketch. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing about 3 to 4 layers and letting each layer of latex dry in between before I saturate the area in more latex and then apply tissue paper on top of that. What we're doing is we're basically creating the flap of skin that's going to be hanging loose from our face. So in order to create the thickness from that, you just want to layer tissue paper, saturate that in latex, layer tissue paper, saturate it in latex, then let it dry until you have about 6 to 7 good coats of tissue and latex. I applied a little bit of powder on top of the latex to make sure it wasn't sticky anymore, and then I just started to peel away the fake flap of skin. To create the torn up pieces of skin, what I'm doing is I'm taking liquid latex and applying this to the guideline of the gash we created earlier. Then I'm taking some torn up pieces of cotton balls, laying that on top of the latex and then saturating it in latex. And with my spatula, I'm just sculpting it and smoothing it onto my skin. When you're doing this step, make sure to have enough liquid latex to where you can mold and shape the cotton to however you want, but at the same time you don't want like a whole glob that's gonna take forever to dry. So make sure you have a decent amount on your spatula you can use to saturate the cotton and just mold it and shape it to however you want, but at the same time you'll have enough working time and it won't dry forever. Then I'm just taking the spatula and just poking and lifting some of the edges of the skin to make them look more torn up and mangled. After those attractive gum holes, what I'm doing is I'm taking latex and cotton and building up like a platform so that the teeth can have somewhere to sit on. And then I just took these plastic teeth that I cut in half and I just stuck those to the cotton and latex. And then I'm taking some more cotton and latex and building up the gums. I'm using the flat end of the spatula to smooth down the latex and cotton as much as possible. And then I'm taking the pointy end of the spatula to pick and poke around to add texture. And in here I'm just adding the little indents to where the teeth insert the gums. And I'm just smoothing down the latex and then taking some more cotton and latex to build up the texture around it. To make sure that the makeup was going to adhere well to the latex once it was dried, I just took some castor seal and applied this on top of the latex and then dabbed away the excess using a cotton ball. After that, I'm taking the Ben 9 Master Bruise Wheel and I'm going to start applying the dark crimson color on the inner areas of the prosthetic to add more depth and dimension. At the same time, I'm mixing a little bit of that dark blue with that crimson color to further add depth and darkness and make the whole area look more like a sunken in, hollowed out bone. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that red from the bruise wheel and a bit of 99% isopropyl alcohol and dilute the red to make it work more like a body paint. And I'm just applying this on the risen up areas of the prosthetic to add those fleshy colors. And then I'm taking a Q-tip soaked in a little bit of 99% isopropyl alcohol and removing some of the red so that some of the pinks would show through and make it look like actual flesh. And then I'm going back and forth between adding highlights and adding depth, using both a highlighter from Graftobian and adding this to the gums and any areas that are risen up in the prosthetic, and adding more depth and dimension using the previous crimson colors I used to darken up the whole area. taking the exact same paint and painting the inside of the skin flap, and then I'm taking a little bit of castor seal and applying this on the outside of the prosthetic, and again dabbing away the excess using a cotton ball. Next, I'm using my Mehron Stage Cream Makeup Palette, and I'm going to mix in the dark olive, the white, and the gray with a little bit of my Maybelline Fit Me foundation to create like a really dead, really pale skin tone. Then I'm just gonna dot that all over my face, and with a regular cosmetic wedge, I'm just buffing that into my skin, covering my whole face, neck, and ears. And then I'm gonna take my trusty Airspun powder and I'm going to set the entire cream makeup. Next, I'm taking the white cream makeup from the same palette and applying this on the T-zone of my face and my cheekbones, and then just buffing that outwards using the exact same cosmetic wedge. Next, I'm taking my Avant Pop palette, and I'm going to use a mix of those two brown eyeshadows that I'm showing you right there, and I'm going to start adding depth and dimension to my face. So what I'm doing first is I'm taking those two light brown colors that I showed you, and I'm going to start applying this to my lid and the bags under my eyes to make them look more dead and sunken in, and then I'm darkening up the colors by using that really dark chocolate brown from the palette. I don't like going straight in with a dark color. I like to start off with a light color first and then darken it up as I go. And then I'm taking whatever was left on the brush and just patting and sweeping it on the rest of my face to break up the skin and make it look more dirty and dead. At the same time, this is going to break up the skin and make it look not so flat and add a lot of discoloration in the skin you would usually find on people that get very, very sick. At least demonic possession sick. I'm darkening up the nostrils, and I'm using the exact same colors I used to contour my eyes to contour my face. Now what I'm doing is I'm laying down the color first and then taking a fluffy brush and just blending out the color as much as I can to heavily contour my face. And I'm using the exact same techniques to contour my temples, the sides of my nose, my jawline, and anywhere where I feel is gonna make my face look more prominent and dead. Next, I'm scrunching up some tissue paper, and I'm going to dab this on the chocolate brown from the Avant Pop palette, and I'm going to tap this randomly all over my face to add more of a dirty and grungy texture, and I'm using my fingers to buff the color outwards. Then I'm going to use my Skin Illustrator FX palette, which I love so very much, and I'm going to take those top two blood colors and then just splotch that all over my face using the exact same tissue paper and the exact same techniques. Now, if you have not seen this movie, basically this character gets a whole lot of blood vomit on top of her. Well, in this case, him. So I just want to get all the blood wherever I can, and then I'm taking the blue and the green and a little bit of that violet color to add veining all over my face, because again, we're going for a really dead, kind of like demonic character, so veining will never go wrong with a character like this. Next, I'm taking a little bit of mascara and I'm running this through my eyebrows to darken them up, and then I'm taking an eyebrow comb and spreading out the color even further. Then I'm taking a red eyeliner pencil and applying this on my waterline to make them look more sick and irritated, and after that I'm taking a highlight color from Graftobian and adding this to the edges of the prosthetic, like the skin flaps, to make them look more raised, like they're actually hanging from my face. Then I'm adding a little bit more depth and dimension to the wound before adding Ben Nye's scratch blood all over the deeper sets and crevices of the face to add more of a tendony and more of like there's just torn up pieces of tendons and flesh still hanging loose from the actual wound. After that, I'm taking a mustardy yellow color from Graftobian and diluting it with alcohol and applying a light wash of that on top of each and every single one of the teeth to add discoloration. And then I'm taking a fake blood and I'm going to glorify this look even more, and I'm going to spread the blood everywhere. Now, when I tell you I used a lot of blood, I mean I used a lot of blood. Oh, like literally, I think I used like 4 different types of blood. I used Cinema Secrets, I used my own recipe, I used Skin Illustrator, I used Mehron Paradise Paints, I dabbed it, I sweeped it, I like splotched it all over my face, I splattered it, I even used my fingers and everything because obviously a wound like this is not gonna look pretty. Then I'm taking a little bit of castor seal and I'm taking this look to the next level to add more sweat and grossness to the look. And I'm applying this on the tip of my nose and on my forehead, and with a sponge I'm dabbing the color outwards to make it look like I've been sweating. And whenever you're doing a look like this, it's always best to take a step back and take a look at what you've done. And when I did that, I realized that I needed to add a little bit more darkness to the eyes and more texture and grime to the face. So nothing fancy here, it's just a little repeat from before. I'm even taking the sponge I used to apply the foundation, with a little bit of that blue from the bruise wheel, and I'm just splotching that on my face to add more grime and more texture. And after these final steps, you're basically done with the face. Now all you need to do is just take a whole lot of hair oil and just mess your hair up as much as you can, because obviously you got gallons of blood puked all over you, so your hair is not gonna look pretty.
So I really hope that you all enjoyed this makeup tutorial, and if you did, please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which the links will be down below, as well as the list of products I used in this video.
So I really hope to see you next time, and bye!